Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Daniel Raminfard. I am the owner of the Raminfard School of Arts, and today I'd like to show you how to draw this pumpkin behind me in acrylics. Okay, so I like to go over supplies. This is like the best part, right? So the brushes that I have here, these are rosemary brushes. So these brushes are made in England. They are pretty fairly priced, probably about 20% more than what you'd find in the regular store. But I love these brushes because they pretty much last forever and they can take a lot of abuse. These are the synthetic brushes. These are known as flats because of the fact that they're flat out on the top, and ideal for acrylic. So I have a number 7, a number 4, and a number 3. And then for detailing, I'm going to use the round version. So these are round brushes, very traditional. They've been around forever. Again, synthetic, made by Rosemary. A 1 and a 2. All right, next we have a little cup. This cup will be filled with water, and it will be basically our mixing medium. This is our panel. This is what's known as a substrate, which is what we're going to use to actually put paint onto. So there's all kinds of different items, but this particular one is known as a panel, and it's got a linen surface on top with an acrylic gesso, and I love these. Raymar is a great place to buy this stuff. I know the owners, they are awesome. I have a butcher tray here. This is a plastic one. You can use a metal one. You can use a glass one. You can use anything that will actually hold paint. And what I have here is basically palette paper, which is very close to wax paper. So if you don't have palette paper, you can use wax paper, but this is just a little bit more durable. Next up, paint. This is known as M-Gram paints, and probably my favorite brand of paints. I love using these. This is their acrylic line, and it's absolutely fantastic. Can't go wrong with these guys, and they're priced really well. Titanium white, cadmium yellow, cadmium red, ultramarine blue, Mars black, and last but not least, napkins. These are Bounty. Viva's good too. You can use shop cloths. We also use rags here. Anything that'll absorb paint works. Okay, so the first color that I'm putting down is white, and I want to put plenty of it. So pretty good size amount, about 3 to 4 P's worth. And I like to work from my light colors over towards my dark colors. So light to dark, warm to cold. So the next color was going to be yellow coming in. Next comes in red. Our next color is blue. This is ultramarine blue. And finally black. So I know a lot of you are asking, why did I choose those colors for this object that we're going to paint? And the reason why I chose those colors is, number one, they're primary. So you've got yellow, red, and blue. And then the only other 2 colors that you have on the palette are tinters. You have something to tint your colors lighter and something to tint your colors darker. I recommend never, ever, ever putting straight white or straight black on your canvas until the very, 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 very end of your painting, and you would only do that under special circumstances. Alright, so step 1, we're actually going to do what's known as a wash. So that means I'm going to use a lot of water and really get it almost like a watercolor consistency. So I'm just kind of rubbing that mixture right on in and trying to get rid of all that white. And the reason why we do this first step of washing our canvas is so that we don't have to battle that horrible color white that's there. So I'm adding just a little bit more color to this. I want a light gray tone. Step 2, we're going to use our round brush to do a quick initial drawing. So the basic shape that I see is essentially egg shape. So that's what I'm going for as I'm drawing this. I see this really pretty stem. Basically looks like this, moving across. And it pulls over. So I think my line is a little too low. I'm gonna bring my line up a bit to right about there. And now I'm putting in these grooves. And again, I'm not too concerned with copying what I see. I'm just trying to get some of the basic information down. Okay, so you can see that I lost my line here, and that's really not a big deal. I could redraw it. And since I'm gonna have to put in that background anyways, it's fine if I just paint right over it. Dang. Step 3. The blocking. So this is a mixture of just black and white with a little bit of water in there. And this is coming down as our background. Moving on to our midground, we're going to be adding a mixture of basically blue, white, and a tiny bit of black. As I paint, I'm trying to paint as efficiently as possible. So I'm trying to do this all in as few strokes as I can, so that I don't get too fussy with my brushwork. I'm going over this area here so that it looks a little soft. Now for the shadow, I'm adding in just a little bit more blue and a tiny bit more black. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna do is put in this yellow, red, and white mixture. And I'm just trying to get an average color of the entire pumpkin. Next, I add in a shadow onto the object itself. So just looking carefully to see roughly where I see most of the darks. And what I'm doing is I'm squinting my eyes as tightly as I can so that the only things that I can see are all the major shapes. All right, now that we have our background in, our midground in, our shadow, and our object with its base color plus its shadows, it's time for us to start thinking a little bit about highlights and detail. So the first thing that I'm noticing is where there are lights. So let's start attacking those areas. And then to that same color, I'm going to add a little bit of white, and I'm using the very corner of my brush to do that. All right, so now I'm going to clean up my edges. Over here, I see a pretty light edge. It's kind of a place that I missed when I was painting, and that's fine. Just coming in to clean that up a bit. And I'm using my shadow mixture. So I'm going to draw the stem using my number 2 round. And I'm literally drawing this in. So I'm thinking of it just like a colored pencil, drawing the shape in, hooks around like so. And I laid down a dark color, so pretty much the same shadow color that I used before. Now I'm going to add white to that color to indicate the stem. So this is where light is striking it, so it's like right about here. And then there's just this area where there's a highlight. So that part's just a little bit lighter. And now for our final stage, which I believe is stage 5, we are going to now put in our highlights. So just to be clear, the highlights are kind of the last minute touches that you want to put in. That's pretty much where I see it being brightest. Just a little speckle of it right here, and maybe just a tiny bit right there. And with those highlights, I'm looking to see if there's any other part that needs to be a little bit darker, and I do see one part, and that's right under here. So this color is basically a mixture of black, orange, and blue, and it's just the underplane of this pumpkin right around here. And that's our demo for today. Okay, so that was a very quick study. Our intent was not to copy what we see. Again, I can't emphasize this enough. Copying what you see is a great way to ruin a painting. We're just interpreting. And the way that we're interpreting it is building it up from a very simple object into things that are more and more complex. We didn't get into detail, we didn't get into too much refinement. Our whole focus was really on just getting basic colors down, basic shapes down, basic details. That's it. And these kind of studies are ideal for helping you grow as an artist. I recommend doing 2 or 3 a week on these small little canvases. This was only 5 by 7. It's a great size to work on. I love doing these kinds of studies because they help me improve. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like, kindly share it with your friends, and definitely subscribe to our channel.